Ashley, Shelley,
Hey,
how's it going?
going good. Trying to find swag in our swagless office. So, so
Uh,
post-it notes and pocket brochures. Eh, Figure it out. Always do.
Fancy.
Fancy, definitely. Here you go.
Very
We got a
fancy.
UID, we got a UIDP event. So here are 100 WVU Foundation branded post-it notes. And then this is our pocket facts that we publish once a quarter. And basically, what it is, it's a little thing you can stick in your pocket and it tells you about WVU, right? How much it costs to attend, all that good stuff. And then on the backside, it talks about the health system and the foundation and stuff. So, hey, I'll take money however I can get it.
That's what this that's kind of what this call is about.
Exactly.
know
Kind of
where
awesome how our needs are intersecting there,
That's right.
Janine.
It's
I
like
know
all
where
these organizations have money that they want to invest. How do we get it?
Exactly.
I know
Great
we're
question.
about to get started. So thank you. I think we've got enough. We've got a couple people dropping in. Um, so we will you will not hear this will be mostly Janine speaking today, but excited to have everybody on. I'm hoping that next we did have NASA last time speaking on the call. I'm hoping that we'll have another government agency. I've got some asks out to DoD, USDA, and Department of Energy, um, as well as looking at some other, potential funding opportunities in the STEM education and workforce space. Everybody's very busy, but I think as we head into the summer months, we'll maybe can get folks to be a little more available. The DoD STEM folks have a lot of great opportunities, and I think that would align very well with some of the folks that I know. But I do see some new people on here. I think my name is Ted Wells. I'm president of STEM Connector, and I have been with STEM Connector since it was born in 2011. It's just crazy that it's 13 years later. So I'm joined by my colleague Janine Koeneke, who'll be presenting today, who's our head of grants, our chief grants officer. And I'll let her introduce herself, and then maybe we can just go down since we have a fairly intimate group, and people can just say who they are and where they're from. Pretty quick, if you don't mind. But Janine, go ahead.
Great. I'm Janine Koeneke. As Ted said, I've joined I'm Chief Grant Development Officer here. I joined STEM Connector in and Pod in late 2020 as a consultant, and that morphed into a role joining all of my colleagues here full time. Prior to that, as early as 2014, 2015, I was a member representing two different organizations, Mind Research Institute and Tiger Woods Foundation, TGR Foundation, where I was VP of fundraising at both. Always found STEM Connector to be a fantastic place to learn, stay on the pulse of everything that's happening, make great connections, find like-minded people, and find people who are willing and excited to fund our work. So, also been involved in different capacities than Ted since for almost 10 years. So excited to be here.
Awesome. Let's see, Shelley, it looks like you're next on my.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I'm glad you're calling us out because y'all are on a little line. I'm Shelley Birdsong Maddox, and obviously I have many tangential conversation points that I make while I'm trying to introduce myself. I'm the Senior Director of Corporate and Foundation Relations here at West Virginia University Foundation. We're a 3C nonprofit that is expressly been formed and works for the benefit of West Virginia University and our mission.
Awesome. let's see. Next person is Karen Shelton.
Mhm. Hi, good afternoon. I am Karen Shelton. I am new, I think I just joined STEM Connector today. And
Welcome.
thank you, thank you. I am the internship coordinator at a high school in Prince George's County, Maryland, Charles Herbert Flowers High School. And I don't know if you all can see my shirt here. It's the ISEF, the International Science and Engineering Fair. I had 2 students who competed in the fair this year and 1 student who competed in the fair last year, and they competed based on their research. I am interested in hearing about STEM Connector and the grants because in our program, our high school seniors conduct capstone research and write thesis style research papers. So I'm always trying to look at how to connect them to STEM professionals. And then from the grant standpoint, perhaps there are ways that I can help fund, transportation. Some of these students take public transportation. Some of these students are, receive free and reduced meal lunches. So how can I make sure that I'm giving them the opportunities to participate in internships? So that's why I'm here, and I'm excited to be here.
Teachers and students, pardon the interruption.
So thank you, Karen. We'll can follow up with you offline. We do have some school districts as members of STEM Connector, and as somebody who lives right next to Prince George's County, would love to engage with y'all. I see Ashley Ruiz.
Hello, I'm Ashley Ruiz from Cal State University Dominguez Hills, and I work for SITE, which is our SNAP Institute for Technology and Education, and I'm the Director of Partnerships and Grants. And our work involves getting teachers professional development in computer science, and pre-service teachers, PD as well. So our goal is to get computer science into those early grades, elementary school right now, and we'll scale up as our institute grows.
Awesome. Leslie Hankins.
Hi, I'm Leslie Hankins. I'm with Project Lead the Way. My colleague Bree has been on these calls in the past, so just kind of sitting in for her.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Welcome. Looks like Madeline Cow.
Hi, I'm Madeline Gao. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator for the University of Nevada, Reno, which is not near Las Vegas. I'm extremely new in my role here at the university, and I'm just trying to get a grasp of what's going on in the STEM community. How can we fund our current programs we have for outreach? We currently have 3 big programs that involves our community. We have a K-5 mobile engineering education lab. We have a makers club supporting our high school students in the local area, and we also provide summer camps.
Awesome. Well, welcome, and would love to connect with you as well. We're working with the other side of the state on a project right now at UNLV, so would love to connect with you. And the Nevada STEM Advisory Council as well. So Nicole Rakers.
Hi, everyone. Great to meet you all. This is my first one of these calls. I'm Nicole. I'm with an organization called CompTIA Spark. We have an in-school program for middle school age students to get STEM education, specifically primarily technology education into the classroom in as many school districts as we can.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole, for joining. And we didn't get you were at our innovation lab, right?
I was, yes. We didn't get a chance to meet, but I was there. That was my first introduction to STEM Connector. So I'm glad to be connected with this group.
Brian Mahler.
Nicole, where are you based geographically?
In the Chicago area, the western suburbs.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brian Molitor said we need to talk. So
okay.
Brian Molitor.
Excellent.
And Ellen Rittler.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be connected with you all today. I'm representing the Society for Science. I know we've been a member of STEM Connector for some time, but I'm not quite sure how long. I support the advancement team, and so getting some of these grants on our radar is a great opportunity. I'm really thankful for these webinars. And I just wanted to shout out Karen, who so proudly showed off her T-shirt, her ISEF shirt. ISEF is one of the society's initiatives that we do globally, but we're also interested in serving locally. A lot of these grants we are looking for to support our schools and our districts that are serving underrepresented students, particularly Title I and rural areas. So really great opportunity to learn about these grants today. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, it's amazing organization we've worked with to support the society's efforts. So glad you're on. And Renee?
Ooh. Is my video on?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Renee Aaron. I am the partnership specialist with STEM Connector. I've been here for about 3 years, and I manage relationship development, new partnerships, and business development for STEM Connector. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, Renee. And Renee and I are both in the DC area. You can see Renee what she looks like from her picture. Great. So the next slide.
Ted, really quickly, we just have one more person join.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Christy McLean, which we are just now doing introductions, Christy.
Hi there, I'm the research coordinator for the College of Engineering at University of Nevada, Reno.
Okay, great. Got 2 UNR folks.
Here, I don't know if you can see me. So I was getting a chance to introduce myself. So I'm Carolyn Starr from Arizona State University.
Oh,
and that's okay. I partnered with STEM Connector many years ago doing an accelerator day, STEM Career Accelerator Day, and a PI information night for families, and just came back into a role. And my first go-to was, I'm going to go back and look for this company. So that's where I circled back. So
awesome. Yeah, that was with Mitzi and
yeah,
all those folks. Yeah,
many years ago.
Audrey and Jackie Terry.
Yep.
Yeah. And we have talked to folks. One of the people we've worked with a little bit on some supporting her includes grant is Caroline Venningen Dunn at ASU. And she's she's working on an includes grant. So welcome. So just a little overview, and then I'm going to hand it over, as I said, to Janine. The purpose of these calls is really to support our post-secondary and NGO members, of which we have a nice mix on this call, and it is being recorded. So we do have some folks who are unable to fit this into their schedule, but are interested in listening. The way that we have envisioned this is, we're a national network of post-secondary institutions, NGOs, and employers with a shared purpose of engaging industry sustainably and impactfully in supporting education. That's why people come to STEM Connector. So you make connections, and you also, we ideally can better understand the systems that we're trying to work in. And recently, particularly, there's been quite a bit of federal dollars that have been pushed out the door, or are trying to be pushed out the door through the agencies that extramural funding agencies that the federal government has. Particularly the CHIPS Act is probably one of the most notable, but also the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, and also the Inflation Reduction Act. Also, there was quite a bit of money that went out during COVID. So the idea was, one of the things that a lot of these funding agencies, one of the aspects that make for successful proposals is if there are folks from around the country in different geographies, because it is a federal program. And so we saw this as an opportunity to bring our network, which has literally folks from Nevada, Chicago, Prince George's County, et cetera. And we have, organizations like Society for Science and Project Lead the Way that are, in classrooms all over the country, or in schools all over the country. So we view this as a great place to potentially help folks team with each other with complementary capabilities and work to each other. So in terms of our role, we can be a lead organization if we are bringing together a consortium of folks, and Janine provides support to do that. We did that with an Includes grant last year. We were unsuccessful for maker spaces, but we got some great feedback. And apparently, for a lot of these grants, you just have to be prepared to get told no and do your best and then take that feedback. And also we can be a partner. We do, as we partner with folks, we do try to help. Obviously, we're trying to use this as a way to generate some revenue for ourselves, and also to, support our members as well. So if we can find a way to include ourselves as a service provider in the grant, doing some of the things that we do, whether that's convening, or communicating, or even providing, insights and research. So that's kind of the roles that we tend to play and how we will be a supportive group. Next slide. A couple things we're working on right now. We'll have dates soon, but we are doing a Pride webinar at the end of the month. So I encourage you to join. It's a issue that is very near and dear to my heart. Supporting LGBTQ plus community, understanding the challenges in that landscape. We are going to be doing a webinar on skills-based hiring with a focus on micro-credentialing in July, and we'll be doing another webinar that's not up here yet on the report on implementation, large-scale implementation of computer science in Chicago Public Schools, which has been used as an opportunity to sort of look at some of the shared challenges across the country. And as I alluded to before, we're hosting our STEM Innovation Forum on the 9th and 10th of October at University of Nevada, Las Vegas, in partnership with STEMx, Battelle, and our Million Women Mentors initiative. For STEM Connector members, this is included in membership. For non-members, there is a ticket cost, and I think we're going to be releasing those fairly soon. And we think it's going to be a great day. We've got a lot of interest from different entities about presenting and speaking. So, and there are opportunities to lead sessions, etc. So very excited about that event. Next slide. And I will turn it over to my colleague, Janine, who will take you through some of the grants that she's identified. So, Janine.
Awesome. Thank you, Ted. Well, I'm actually sort of excited about the fact that this is a smaller group and highly representative of universities and nonprofits who work with middle school and high school, and then also work with ecosystems with community colleges and universities, because almost everything I have to share today is directly targeting those groups. So I'm excited about that. Before I launch into these slides, though, I want to ask a quick question, because there was a really interesting webinar this morning, 7 a.m. Pacific time, but I was up ready because I wanted to learn about the regional innovation engines. Was anybody else, since it's just a small group, just say, yeah, I was on that too? Was anybody else on the Unpacking the Education, Labor, and Workforce Impact of NSF Engines call?
No.
Okay. It was really informative. I'm going to tell you, if you're working at all with skilled technical workforce, career technical education, advanced technological education, whatever acronym you want to use, because a lot of them are being used, you should listen to this, because there are some great quotes that you could use in your grant writing, if that's the type of work you're doing. And you can also learn about people who are already doing work in this space. And for my University of Nevada at Reno colleagues that are on this call, Reno, Nevada actually got a shout out as an example. Yes, I will send the link to the recording. So when we send this out, we will also send it's recorded, it's on YouTube. We will send that link. So you should be able to listen to it at any time. But University of Nevada at Reno got a shout out because this is an example they gave. They said, in Reno, Nevada is one of the only lithium mines, if not the only lithium mine in the United States. And they submitted a grant to the Regional Innovation Engines, which are very, very large grants, $160 million over 10 years for each of the innovation engines in a region. And they awarded 10 of them. And what they talked about with Nevada is they put together an entire ecosystem partnering universities, the state, the workforce development, and everything, because if they're the only lithium mine in the United States, where else do we get lithium but the People's Republic of China, which becomes a national security issue, which is why Commerce and Department of Defense and NSF are looking at all of these regional innovation ecosystems and engines to determine what kind of workforce do we need to have in the US outside of all the places that generally get the money, New York and Silicon Valley and everywhere else. How can we pull upon regional specializations, invest in them to not only grow the workforce, grow the career opportunities for people in those areas, but also improve our national security. So I thought it was like a really cool shout out. So I was super excited to see two of you. I don't know if either one of you were aware of those programs, but it was super, super exciting to hear that. So there you go. Thank you. So you guys are, you obviously you are aware of them. Good
yes,
for you.
Thank you very much. It's a big accomplishment. We're in that $1 million development phase, and now we're applying for phase 2. That's the 160 million. But yes, it is slowly becoming our whole entire life. So
I would tell you that if the NSF director is shouting you out in a national call, which by the way, you're the only one they shouted out.
Wow, I'm going to go back and get that recording. I'm bummed I wasn't there.
You absolutely should get that recording, because I was just stoked for you. I was just like, this is a perfect example of why we do these things and why it's important to all work together on ideas. So I just wanted to say that we will absolutely, the name of it, somebody asked, I'll repeat it again, keeps going blank on my phone because I pulled it up here so I wouldn't have to switch this screen. But it's it's called Unpacking the Education, Labor, and Workforce Impact of NSF Engines, America's broadest investment in regional innovation ecosystems. So we'll get that to you. So with that, I'm going to jump in, because I honestly, I was so excited about this, even, coffeeed up at 7 a.m. I was so excited about this that I wanted to just start out our call with that. So I'm going to roll into the first slide. I'm also super excited about this, and I may spend a little bit more time on this than the rest of them, because this is the type of project, I think, exactly why you are a part of a membership organization where you can meet people nationwide and think about how you could work together on this. So this was just released, I think like a week ago, maybe May 24th. The proposal deadline is October 1st. So that's actually quite a lot of time, even for our universities who have many, many, hoops to jump through to get approval and budget approval and all of that. And it's eligible only for 2- and 4-year institutions of higher education. So community colleges, universities, and the principal investigator for this has to have a doctoral degree, or at least a master's degree with specializations in a specific STEM discipline. Or STEM education. So I'm going to talk about what this is about in a minute, but those are where you should start. They're anticipating 8 to 10 awards. There's $35 million available. Award floor is $1 million. The award ceiling is $5 million. And this is a pilot program. And so you can see this is coming out of the CHIPS Act that Ted referenced earlier. NSF has established the National STEM Teacher Corps Pilot Program. The purpose of the program, I'm so excited about this. I know you can read, but I'm just going to read this part to you anyways. The purpose of this program is to elevate the profession of STEM teaching by establishing a national STEM Teacher Corps pilot program that recognizes outstanding STEM teachers in all of our nation's classrooms, reward them for their accomplishments, elevate their public profile, and create rewarding career paths to which all STEM teachers can aspire. So what's very cool about this is they're recognizing that some of our most talented STEM teachers and STEM professionals get pulled out of education because they have opportunities to go somewhere else that they might have more recognition, they might get higher pay. And in recognition of that, NSF knows and understands that if we're going to accomplish the skilled technical workforce that we need, that things like the regional engines are investing in, right? If we're going to need all these hundreds of thousands of skilled technical workforce, students need to learn from somebody. They need to learn from these fantastic STEM teachers. And I believe, even though you're to be eligible to run this program, you have to be a community college, or university. I believe the STEM Teacher Core Pilot Program is recognizing outstanding STEM teachers at all levels, right? So this isn't just STEM teachers. So this is where those of you who are in the high school districts and our Project Lead the Way partners and people who are working within all these school districts, you are probably seeing firsthand some of the best STEM teachers in the country. So I think this is super exciting. What I would love to do, they're going to plan 8 to 10 regional alliances. And in those regional alliances, you're responsible for recruiting the applicants to become the members of the Teacher Corps, screening and interviewing, selecting members, supporting other activities. There's a lot of activities. We will send out this one. We will put a link to. We don't always put a link to them. We usually just send out the slides. We will put a link to this. And then what I would like to propose is that we don't wait until next month's grant call to start maybe putting together partners that we want to brainstorm with. So right now, just for example, the people that we have on the call, we have 2 folks from University of Reno. We have California State University at Dominguez Hills, and we have ASU. Potentially right there, that could be a Southwest region, right? Then we have other folks on the call. Just because people aren't on the call, we have lots of people up in the Northeast, Washington, DC general area. So I want Ted and Kylie and Renee and I will sit down and kind of figure out what's the best way to maybe push out some brainstorming sessions, maybe regionally, because this is going to be regional funding. But I really think that this is a fantastic opportunity that we're learning about early for us to convene some of our members and really sit down and talk about what can each member bring to a regional alliance and what would the goals and activities look like. So before I move on to any of the other ones, does anybody have any questions or thoughts about this? I haven't been watching the chat, so if there's anything in the chat.
Hey, Janine, is there like some of our states, I know like West Virginia is an EPSCoR state. Do you get additional, are they like targeting EPSCoR states on this, or is it is there no, like, because that might be it help,
Yeah, I don't know for sure because I didn't get a chance. This really just kind of came across this week catching up. I didn't get a chance to do the deep dive, but I will definitely get that information and when we send these slides out, I'll update that because I can look at that after. I didn't think to look specifically for that. So that's a good point. So let's see, that's 24,577. Okay, I wrote myself a note, so I will check on that. Okay, if there's not any other questions, I will encourage all of you, and I mean, even just thinking about this, the university partners that we have that specifically have a teacher education program, like I know Ashley and her team do, this feels like a fantastic way to branch out from that reputation of being a university that prepares teachers. So okay, on to the next one. I hope you guys are excited about that as I am. Okay, so this is a Department of Ed grant. It's due July 15th, not quite so much luxury of time on this one. It's a little bit quicker turnaround time. Has anybody here already participated in a TRIO program?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. They're just fantastic add-on services, student support services. So they're just designed to increase the number of disadvantaged students and first-generation college students with disabilities to actually stay the course when they get into school. We all know that sometimes our students that, some students just face more barriers than other students, and it's very difficult for them sometimes to stay the course and to finish their degree programs, whether it's 2-year or 4-year degrees. So this is all about what are those other support services? Do you have an office at your university that provides that? Could you use additional funds in supporting this? It's not a huge amount, $272,000, but $272,000 across the number of students that need it. Sometimes they only need $5,000 or $6,000 to bridge a gap. Sometimes they only need a temporary amount of $500. You never know what the needs of those students are. There's $382 million in this fund, and they will award close to 1,200 awards. So the probability for these is a lot higher than a lot of the other things that we compete for, where there's maybe 8 or 10 awards. So I really encourage you, if you think that you can make a case for the students that you serve needing this, which I think most of the schools we work with can make a very compelling case. They work a lot with disadvantaged and first generation students. You know, I would encourage you to take a look at this. Okay. Next one. This is also an education grant. This is much more specifically targeting model programs that support veteran students. So these can be older veterans who've returned and are going to community college or university, or it can be students coming straight out. We have a personal family friend who benefited from exactly this type of program, where he came out of the Marine, his service with the Marines, had actually seen some pretty brutal things in his service. He's 28. He is through his 3rd year at USC and is now interning up at Amazon. And this is the type of program that made that possible for him. So there are, you know, VA loans for, I mean, there are education packages for veterans, but oftentimes without these additional support services, they have high dropout rates, the same as we see with our first generation college students. So if you have a program on your campus, and maybe it's even if you don't know if you do, it might be worth checking it into and just passing this on to that office. Again, $750,000 goes a long way to supporting those veterans on their way to success. This has a little bit longer time. You have about 7-8 weeks to do this. It's due July 29th. Any questions on those last two? I think I saw somebody, Carolyn, you have a TRIO grant?
We have a TRIO department on all of our campuses. So
that's fantastic.
They run,
well, they're probably already aware of this,
yes,
but it wouldn't hurt. It never hurts to send it, right?
I will send it over to them. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they're probably way on top of it. So, okay, good. All right, next slide. Okay, this is also similar. Now, this is a basic needs for post-secondary students. So this is, you know, it can be eligible to a specific university. It can be a consortia or a system. And it's basically, what are students' basic needs? And this is literally housing, food, really basic needs. Sometimes our parenting students, it can be childcare. So this is just about all 3 of these programs. Well, I would say TRIO and this program are about keeping people who are already in school, keeping them on their educational pathway. The Veterans Program includes getting students into and then keeping them on their educational pathway. This particular one has priority over HBCUs, TCU, and MSIs, or a consortium of those. So if you fit into that category, which many of our members do, you can be thinking about that. The ceiling is up to $900,000. They expect to award about 12 awards. And this may be the FIPSE category. So TRIO is one category, FIPSE is another category, which is just, it is funding. They break down the funding into different categories, but all of it is basically designed to support students completing their career pathways. That one is due August 5th. So almost 2 months from today. I know that, 2 months, but then when you're talking a university setting, that's not 2 full work months if anybody's actually out of their office. I'm aware of that, but I did think that, these are really relevant to a lot of the schools, to the members that we serve. So I wanted to just make sure that we highlighted them, and I hope they're not too short for you to take advantage of. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, this program is from NSF. This is specifically for HSIs, Hispanic Serving Institutions, and Equitable Transformation in STEM Education, or an ETSI grant. Anybody here have success getting an ETSI grant? There's 4 tracks, 2 of which are brand new and 2 of which are being repeated. Okay, so this is the deadline is September 11th. You need to be an accredited institution of higher education, and you need to satisfy the definition of being an HSI. You can also work with a network. So if you are an HSI and there are other HSIs in your area, you could look at that. They haven't said what the award ceiling is going to be, but they anticipate, $20 million with 17 awards. So the awards are probably anywhere from 750 to 1.5 million if you just kind of do the math on how far that 20 million will go. This one has a lot of detail to it that I couldn't fit all into one slide. I think there's 2 slides on this. There's 4 tracks. The departmental or division transformation track. Are there funds that you need to make your program more accessible, more culturally relevant, more appropriate for the students that you're serving? That's department or division. Institutional transformation track, and that's new. That's new funding. The institutional transformation track refers to the institution as a whole, so your entire university system. Emerging faculty research track, these are smaller grants, but they're very specifically focused to supporting 1 or more faculty researchers at your university. And then the HSI program resource hubs, this is more about networking HSIs across regions to see if they can be sharing resources, best practices, maybe even visiting professors, anything like that. So this also has an ability to accept a conference proposal, and you can also apply for a planning proposal. So one thing we may do, because we do conferences quite a bit, we do convenings, Ted and team, we may look at this ourselves and see, is there a role that STEM Connector can play in elevating these things? Do we have members on this call that feel like they have best practices they could share? If some of the members on this call do decide, this call and the people who will watch this recording afterwards, I don't want to forget about you. If you decide that this is something that you're going to pursue and you have particular programs that are in place that you want to improve upon or expand, please let us know, because that could be something that we would potentially highlight. So if we were to do a conference, we could be highlighting the work that some of our members are already doing and advocating for the expansion of those programs through this type of funding. So that's basically what this is about. If you go to the next slide, I think it's just the rest of the information on this. And so that's why I put here multiple tracks. It's a lot of each track has a slightly different goal and objective. So I would encourage you that the number, if you go to grants.gov, it's NSF 24578. So if you just search opportunity number 24578, you can look to see what is the best of the 4 tracks that your organization might be prepared for. And what they want is proposals that implement and evaluate promising practices and conduct research related to broadening participation, improving recruitment, retention, graduation, and other successful outcomes. So they want you to, design programs that catalyze change, meet your students where they are, and that take a research approach so that this information can be shared. So that's what they kind of say towards the end. Institutions are expected to use institutional data to identify equity gaps, identify areas of need, and unpack the factors that shape students' individual identities and shared experiences. Their perspectives gained from this data should be central to the design of the proposed project. So what are you going to learn, and how are you going to use those learnings? And remember, NSF always wants to know, how are you contributing to the science, the evaluation, and the research that has gone on before? Because they want, even though they're funding individual universities or programs or ecosystems, they want all of that work to inform their future work and to be shareable across their own ecosystems. So again, September 11th, I think it's not stated in this because maybe it hasn't been determined, but if you actually go into the document, there may be more specifics. Oh, in fact, you know what? I do remember this because I did go into the document. Sorry. The reason it's not stated is because all 4 have different award ceilings. So it would be confusing. So depending on which track you apply for, some of them tap out, I think, at 300,000 or 400,000, and the other ones can go up to 2 million. So I gave you false information before when I said just divide the 17 into 20. That's actually not true. There's different floors and ceilings for each of the 4. So if this is something you're interested in, I encourage you to look at the 4 tracks, determine which one you're most aligned with, and then that will tell you what the amounts you can apply for. So sorry for the confusion on that. Okay, next one. Okay, so I'm going to go over just a couple of the things. We do this each time. I try and make sure, because we have different people on the calls each time, if I think there's maybe enough time for somebody to apply, I'll do a second review. So we did an overview on this in April, but I'll go over it really quickly. This is a very particular program that is supporting graduate fellowships for students in these highlighted areas. So that it has to be graduate fellowships for students in computer science, education, engineering, biological and life sciences, mathematics, physical sciences, and psychology. If you're a new grantee, if you've never received GAN funding before, you get an extra point. So they're trying to expand where they're funding. And if you are an HBCU, MSI, tribal college, or university, you also can get an extra point. So this is due July 24th. The awards are up to 750,000, but there will be 60 of them. So again, very specific to graduate fellowships. So if that's not something that you offer, then I wouldn't spend a lot of time on this, but if that is something, or if you have a department that is looking to expand, it does cover, what is that, 7, 8 different categories, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 different categories. So this might be something you take out of your department to somebody else just to check. Oh, there you go. So Christy's working on one as we speak. Perfect. Okay. The next one, this will also be a second review. This is also very, very specific. This is due July 3rd. And this is very much about it's a developmental sciences course. It's about human development across the lifespan. How do we linguistic, perceptual, cognitive, social, cultural, and biological processes that affect humans across their lifespan? Do we have anybody that works in those departments on this call? All right, so I'll skip over that. And then the next one. This is also, okay, it's due September 10th. These can be anywhere from $75,000 to $1 million. And this is, they're really looking for kind of revolutionary ideas that form our next generation of engineers. So they define revolutionary means radically, suddenly, or completely new, producing fundamental structural change or going outside of and beyond existing norms and principles. So this has a couple of different planning tracks. I don't recall actually if I included all of the slides or not on this. But if you go to 24564 on grants.gov, it will talk about the different planning tracks. If you don't already have one, you're most likely, if interested, needing to look at track 1. And that's why these are some of the grants are as low as $75,000, because they're really capacity building and planning grants. So what do you need to build capacity and establish collaborations that would help you accomplish being successful for a track 2 grant? They have to be led by the Institute for Higher Education that meets one or more of the following criteria, which is 2-year institutions that support transfer students, institutions in EPSCoR jurisdictions. So this one did call out EPSCoR jurisdictions, and primarily undergraduate institutions or minority serving institutions. And you don't have to meet all 4 of those criteria. You have to meet 1 or more of those criteria. So in your case, Shelley, if you guys are an EPSCoR jurisdiction, this might be worth peeking into and passing on to whoever is the appropriate person. Okay.
Thanks.
The next one. What's that?
I just said thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that was a lot in a short amount of time, but also I hate thinking that anyone's going to miss any opportunities. We will send this out and it will have all the, it says right there, who is the funding agency? What is the opportunity number? If you don't know how to use grants.gov, please reach out to me. My email is going to be at the end of this and I can just do a quick tutorial. It's very, very easy. And there's a wealth of information and I spend, way too much of my life on that website. So I'm happy to walk you through how to find some of these opportunities if this is new to you. And with that, any questions for me, or are we ready to hand it over for Ted to wrap up? All righty. Thank you all. Thanks for your attention.
Hello. Thank you, Janine. That was great. I think there's a lot of interesting opportunities out there. I think that STEM Teacher Core program is really one that I think a lot of folks could leverage. Any questions before we wrap up? And is there anything that any opportunities that are sitting on folks? You're looking for partners. There might be. I think we've got a lot of really, we've got a nice mix of partners and organizations on here. So, and for folks who are listening to the recording of this, we're happy to make any connections to people. Great. Right. I think that's it. Thank you very much. And thank you, Janine. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you.